Hey, dude, welcome back. It's your boy Nextstop Sirchcity, and you are watching another episode of the Food We Watch podcast. This one is a little special. It's a little near and dear to my heart. This episode marks the 50th episode of the Food We Watch podcast. Yo, can I get some love? You know, consistency is key in life. Consistency is very key to life. I started this podcast, about a year? I guess you could say about a year ago. I had the idea of doing something a little different instead of just reviewing the norm or just talking about the norm that everybody else does. I'm like, you know what? Let me review these food shows. I watch them: Gordon Ramsay, Hell's Kitchen, Next Level Chef, Drink Masters. There's a ton of shows on Netflix. As you know, we're reviewing one now. But it's like, why not get on here, find the people who are interested in these shows just like I do, and let's have a conversation about it. So 50 episodes in, my G. Yo, Philly boy, never thought in a million years I would have a podcast. And I just want to say thank you to the 2 or 3 people that's been following the podcast ever since it started. Trying to grow the community, man. I know y'all out there watching these shows. I don't know why you ain't watching this one. Get with it. Come on. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your people. The Food We Watch podcast is legit. We are here to stay. Shout out to my co-host today, Water, Tony Baker, comedian. He has a podcast. He always shouts out his co-host, Water. Today, my co-host will be Water. So there we go. But since this is an anniversary of sorts, I thought, hey, why not introduce a new segment? So I just want to introduce a new segment. What we're going to do going forward, every episode, we are going to review the national food holiday of the day. The day that I record this podcast, we will review that national foods holiday starting now. Today is a day that is near and dear to our hearts. It may not be good for our hearts, but it is near and dear to our hearts. Today is National Bacon Lovers Day. Yes, y'all. National Bacon Lovers Day. I love me some bacon. You wake up in the morning to the smell of some crackling bacon. What? I had bacon this morning. That's probably top 3 smells of all time. National Bacon Lovers Day. Bacon is such a hot commodity, whereas I believe before the 1700s, we weren't even importing pork to make bacon. Bacon is such a hot commodity that in the 12th century, there was a church in English town of Great Dunmoy that challenged the married men to a wager. What kind of wager? If a man could go a complete year and a day, not just a year and a day, without doing that thing with his wife, they would receive a side of bacon as their prize. This birthed the phrase, bring home the bacon. If you didn't know, now you know. It had nothing to do with people going out and working and bringing home the bacon. No, this literally was a bet by a church that men could not go without doing that thing with their wife for a year and a day. And if they won, they would bring home bacon. That bacon was gold when it dropped. And as you can tell, this was incredible. So I just wanted to let y'all know what's going on. Today is National Bacon Lovers Day. Make sure you eat your bacon. All right, now let's get into the show. As we already know, we are reviewing Barbecue Showdown on Netflix, season 3. We're reviewing episode 3 this week. It was kind of crazy. Last week we lost the contestant Luis. Shout out to Luis for being on that show. Hopefully we can get you on the pod. I'm definitely going to be reaching out. This week it was a little bit different. The contestants, they showed up to this strange Saw-like location. It looked like a scary movie. No one, the host wasn't, Michelle wasn't there. The judges, they weren't there. Melissa and Kevin, no one was to be found. But the contestants showed up, and they saw this big trench with these just grills and all sorts of stuff. So it was a different experience starting off the show. Then, as they're walking around, they're wondering, yo, what is going on? Where is everybody? I thought we were shooting today. Out of nowhere, at the top of the front of this big saw-looking barn thing, clock pops up and it starts a countdown. Still, no cast, no crew around. They're just standing here like, what is going on? What are we supposed to be doing? Out of nowhere, the doors slide open and you see an array of meats, numbered 1 through 7, chicken, pork loin, rib, steak. Again, still, they don't know what's going on. They walk up, they're looking, they're like, yo, okay, this is dope. What are we supposed to be doing today? Now, the big homie, Big G, Gerald, finally realizes, hey, maybe I should grab one of these. He starts counting. He's like, it's 7 of us, and it's 7 proteins across the table. Then he realizes, I probably should go ahead and grab it. And as soon as he starts grabbing, everybody gets the same idea, and all of them just starts to grab their protein. So, all in all, they figured out what they had to do. The host shows up, Michelle shows up, Kevin and Melissa shows up, the judges, and they let them know what they're going to be doing for this week's competition. Before they announced that, Kent, the OG, was last to pick his protein. It was they were scuffling. He picked duck wings and flank steak. He didn't really mind the flank steak. You know, you grill a flank steak. But duck wings, where he's from, not really familiar with it. I'm not familiar. I didn't know this was a thing. Let me know in the comments if you ever had duck wings before. Maybe we can make this a new trend for TikTok. I might look to see if I can go find some duck wings. I might try to experiment on cooking them down, see what the best option are. Hey, maybe we can make this a thing on TikTok. All right. So, judges appear. They let them know what they're going to be doing is a street meat competition. So, basically, they had to take the proteins that they got along with the ingredients in that barn, and they had to create 2 to 3 dishes of street meat. So it could be American street meat, Mexican street meat, Egyptian street meat. Just be creative. So they got 2 hours to create a dish using 2 proteins. They had to do 2 sides, and they had to do it in the trench. And again, the trench is this big grill that you can do different styles of grilling or barbecuing over an open fire. So this was a fast cooking competition. The contestants seemed a little nervous because they've been used to the last 2 episodes. You get like 4.5, 5 hours to slow cook these proteins. But the judges, they changed it up a little bit. They wanted to see if they had the versatility to do fast cooking barbecue. So right off rip, we go to Melissa. Melissa is attempting to do Peruvian food. We have Sloan. She's thinking about doing steak tacos, which is a automatic, plus when it comes to street food. Kareem is taking it back to his days in Cairo, and he's going to do like a lamb chop situation with pancada kebab. Pancada is a type of steak. He's going to grill his corn and do some kind of baba ganoush. I've never had baba ganoush. I've heard of it before. It's like a char roasted eggplant type situation, kind of similar to hummus. Now, the way this works is, since they're cooking over an open fire, they just have to make sure, and they have to, even though they're not on teams, they have to make sure that they work as a unit to keep these fires going. If you don't pay attention and you let that fire fizzle out, then you're losing time because you're going to have to recreate that fire. Everybody's using the fire. So this was like not a group competition, you feel me, but kind of still like a group competition. Shakita tried to start getting her fire started. She really doesn't have that much experience with cooking over an open flame. She's more of a kitchen type chef, so she was a little nervous, but she's going to attempt to take her ingredients and do Jamaican street food. She chose chicken and chicken oysters and veal tenderloin. So we're going to see how that works out for her. Now, Kent, OG, he's used to cooking in open fire. That's what he does for a living. That's what he grew up on, and that's what he's been doing. He is in his element. So you would think that Kent would have an upper hand in this competition. He does it all the time. He's won challenges doing it. So you would think, okay, this may be his thing. But the only downfall, again, is he picked those duck wings. That's number one. He ain't never had no experience with no duck wings. And then he's not really familiar with street food. So he can cook, you cooking, you barbecuing, you cooking the hamburgers, hot dogs, and the steaks and the ribs. But with street food, you don't want it to be too much. You want to be kind of compared, almost like a light snack. You feel me? Like, you don't want it to be too much. So Kent doesn't really have experience with doing street food, but he's going to, use his experience in open fire grilling and hope it works out for him. Now, judges were a little worried with Kent because they see what Kent has been doing. He's a little inconsistent when it comes to his seasoning. They do think, he does have the experience with the open fire, but duck wings are not to be played with. The meat, they want to see if he can actually get the meat to be tender. So the duck wings, to me, are more on the muscular side than the chicken wing. Chicken wings, they don't fly. Whereas ducks, they use their wings to fly around, so they will be more muscular. So they're hoping that he finds a way to make those wings tender enough for them to eat. Now, Big G, Gerald chose the pork loin and the skirt steak. He's doing a New Orleans classic via Vietnam. He's making yakame. I've never heard of this. But apparently they do this a lot in New Orleans. So if you've been to New Orleans, or if you're watching this and you live in New Orleans, hey, drop a line in the chat. What do you feel about yakame? Is this like one of those? Is this the cheese? This what is equivalent to a cheesesteak in Philly? Because that's what we known for. I know how to make a good Philly cheesesteak. You feel me? If you're from Philly, we already know that's what we known for. Philly cheesesteaks and hoagies. So is yakame the equivalent to that down in New Orleans? Judges were a little worried, but they went to go check on him. And he's been doing a lot with that yakame, but he has a whole pork loin that he didn't even start yet. And again, this isn't a 4-hour competition when you have time. This is only a 2-hour competition. You got to make sure that pork is cooked up to temp. Next, we got Sloan, right? See, she grabbed she grabbed the tri-tip steak. And now I might butcher this. Iberico pork shoulder. Never heard Iberico. No idea. Never heard of this before in my life. I need to expand my meat palate. That sounds all the way wrong. We gonna go with that. Next, we got Stacy. Good old Stacy. Stacy realized, I think she thought she grabbed like chicken cutlets or something. Realized, oh snap, I grabbed chicken liver. And she also grabbed some duck. They was ducking it up this episode. They got duck legs. I've never even had duck legs. I never had duck. I don't even know where I would go to get duck. She was not really thrilled about her grab. She's going to try to make a bad situation better. Hopefully come up with the dish. What she's trying to do is a dish inspired by her kids, who love Chinese and Japanese cuisine. They're into anime and all that. So she's going to try to create something that's inspired by what her kids like to eat. She is having trouble though getting that fire to grow. So it was a little windy out there. That wind was blowing, and too much wind will blow out that fire. So she had to try to make some kind of contraption to kind of block out the wind. Hopefully that'll work out for her and she can get that fire started. You feel me? Now, Melissa, on the other hand, Melissa grabbed chicken thighs. Ooh, I hope that ain't mess up in y'all ear. Melissa grabbed chicken thighs and lamb loin. Now, to me, she probably had one of the best grabs. Again, she's going on the Peruvian route, so hopefully she knows what she's doing. What she says is that she learned, she fell in love with Peruvian food because she had a coworker that would always talk about the food and bring her the food. So I don't know how much experience she has in actually cooking Peruvian over an open flame, but hopefully that'll, work out for her. She's going to do some kind of like a stir fry and some skewers, more so on the line of the street meat type of dish. But everybody during this competition is really feeling that time crunch. They keep bringing it up. How much time we got? How much time we got? Woo! An hour and 30. We just got started. So out of nowhere, Gerald, to me, started falling behind a little bit. Big G was falling behind a little bit. Didn't have his sides together. But now this to me kind of threw me off until he explained why. Gerald decided to have grilled cheese as one of his sides, like a grilled cheese sandwich. And I was like, I grew up, grilled cheese was an actual meal. But listening to Big G, apparently it's a cultural thing to have a yakame with the grilled cheese, and then you can dip it in the sauce, and it makes for a good combination. I'm going to try this. Big G, I need you to come on the podcast and explain this to me. Then I need to take a trip down to New Orleans so you can actually make this for me so I can understand what this is. Because it sounds good. It looks good. Again, grilled cheese with noodles. I mean, maybe oodles and noodles back in the day, but this seems a little different. I don't know. We gonna figure it out though. We gonna figure it out. Sloan, in her mind, and I say this, and we'll get to it a little later on in the show. In her mind, she burnt her tri-tip steak, and she was worried. Now, luckily, she noticed what was going on. She took the steak off the rack, off the fire. But to me, Sloan, and maybe it helps her to not be real confident. Because we've seen and we've talked about on this show people that are extremely confident and say, oh, I've done this 1,000 times. And then when it comes down to the competition, they're sent home. Sloan seems not real confident in herself as much as you would think. With her years of experience. But yes, in her mind, she burnt her tri-tip steak. We're going to see if it was actually burnt. Kent, my man OG Kent, started falling behind. He worried too much about the grill. And that kind of, he had too much on his grill. Basically, he had the smaller portion of the grill. and he had a lot of things going on, and in his mind, this was not allowing an even cook on his meats, on the duck wings and things like that. So he started to get a little nervous. Now Melissa, who had trouble last episode over an open fire, she was having fun. Apparently, she is a pyromaniac. She likes starting fires. But one part of the competition, as she's actually turning her chickens skewers, she actually drops a couple of them on the ground, kind of messes her up. She's standing there like, dun, 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 like, what did I just do? She's having a little bit too much fun with that fire. Hopefully, that doesn't hurt her in the long run. We gonna see, or will we? Kareem, with about 30 minutes left, he still needed to cook his protein. He had no protein cooked. Now they said he may be okay because the protein that he chose is a fast cooking protein, but what he's going to have to do is keep an eye on that protein, because due to the fact that it cooks fast, it's a big chance that he could actually overcook his dish, and we don't want that. Now Shatika, she was going through it. She was really going through it. And she's another one who doesn't like, she's the bougie barbecuer, but there are times where it's like, dang, she don't seem as confident as you would think she is, because she is very skillful. But she was having trouble getting her meat to cook faster, getting her fire up, and to get everything up to temp. She also ended up dropping one of her kebabs. So hopefully these minor mistakes do not hurt these contestants in the long run. But she was another one who was frantic and thought she was messing up and didn't know what to do. Then she kind of slowed down and tried to figure it out. Kent, going back to Kent, realized, yeah, these duck wings, yeah, they ain't right. They ain't all that's it's quacked up to be. You feel me? To do that joke. Yeah. So what he did, he just drenched it in sauce and threw out a prayer and just hope for the best. He was like, "Look, I've never done this before. I'm not even sure if I'm doing this right." But he could tell that they were a little too tough. So that's all he did. He just drowned them in duck sauce, and hopefully he was able to get it done with that sauce. Back to Shatika. I'm sorry about that. Even though she was frantic, one thing that did comfort her was her dessert. She decided to make, I believe it was a pineapple upside down cake or some kind of cake. And again, I think that put her back in her element of being in the kitchen. So she wasn't worried about that. She was hoping that would actually take her over the top. And again, Sloan, worried about her meat. It didn't look good, in her opinion. And as we know, the judges, it's not just about the food tasting good, but it also is about your presentation. So she's just hoping, like, okay, maybe, just maybe, it tastes good. May not look good, may look a little charred more than she expected, but hopefully that taste is what the judges was looking for. Now, time is running out. Everybody's plating. Stacy realizes, oh snap, I did like 2 different types of cooks. Like, she did Japanese and Mexican. Not really a fusion, but like some of her dishes were Japanese inspired, some of her dishes were Mexican inspired. So she's kind of like, oh crap. Hopefully that having 2 flavor profiles won't throw anything off. But all in all, this was an exciting competition. Again, they didn't have the whole 4 hours. They couldn't run around and do a bunch of stuff and try to do too many dishes, but also they had to keep track of that time, especially being in that mind state of a slow cooker, and you're used to slow cooking the barbecue, and now you're being thrown into doing it for a fast cook. It could throw you off. But let's see what the judges think about each person's dish. Now, Sloan, She made pork shoulder burrito. She made tri-tip tacos, refried black beans, Mexican rice, and fresh salsa. Judges loved her dish. They said her avocado and the creaminess of it really brought out the flavor in the pork. They just wanted a little bit more fire on the tri-tip steak, but they thought it was cooked perfectly. Her face lit up. For the second week in a row, Sloan thought she was down. Sloan thought she was out. And for a second week in a row, she killed it. They said the beans had a great depth of flavor, and it was a great mix. It was a great Tex-Mex mix. So shout out to Sloan. I mean, I'm not trying to say you got to be cocky, but you should definitely be a little bit more confident in yourself. You feel me? Seem like you got them skills, yo. And I think once you hone in on that and be a little bit more confident, you're going to be running this competition. You and Big G. Y'all my front runners. Big G, Gerald, he did the skirt steak beef yakame with a side of grilled cheese and pork chops. The judges thought the skirt steak was cooked great, but the broth needed a little bit more seasoning for his yakame. The pork was a little overcooked, but the grilled cheese was spot on. So he did good. He did okay. I think the grilled cheese was the best part of his dish. So in my opinion, he probably won't win this round because it was more so on the cook of the meats, and his grilled cheese kind of overshadowed that. But still, you're still my fave in the game to win this whole competition. Next, we have Kent. Kent made Mexican flank steak fajitas, fried duck wings with Oklahoma Tex-Mex sauce, sparkling potatoes, Mexican street corn elote, grilled fruit kebabs with a chocolate whiskey sauce. Now, again, to me, sometimes less is more. I think the judges felt the same way. The cook on the flank steak was perfect, but didn't really have any taste. Only thing they could taste was the sauce. The duck was tough, but they did like the potatoes, and the chocolate and pineapple really wasn't a good combination. They didn't like the way the char of the pineapple tasted with the chocolate sauce. So again, sometimes less is more. Just reading off everything he did just felt like he was doing a little too much, and I thought he was having issues with his grill and having too many things on the grill at one time. So let's see. We're going to find out if this hurts him. Next, we have Melissa. Good old Florida Melissa. She made the Peruvian lamb chop stir fry, or the Peruvian lamb stir fry, marinated chicken skewers with a Peruvian green sauce, salsa criolla, and green plantains. Lamb was overcooked. I think she had a little bit too much fun with that open fire. The chicken had a kiss of fire, and they liked the brightness of the sauce. They said it had a good char, but it was a little tough. So all in all, I think her inexperience, I know she likes to set fires, but cooking over an open fire hasn't really been working out in her favor. You feel me? Now we got Shatika. Yep, we have Shatika. She made the jerk chicken oyster skewers, curried veal tenderloin skewers, rice and pea, fried plantain, and rum pineapple upside down cake. Now, the judges thought the chicken and oysters and they basically thought they said they thought this was perfection. They love her depth of flavors from the jerk chicken. The cake was amazing to the point where they was like, yo, y'all not getting none of this. I'm actually taking this home. So she did an outstanding job, especially with her Jamaican profile that she used for her dish. Next up is Kareem. He, again, took it back to Cairo. He's using lamb chops, picana kebabs. He did grilled corn in a baba ganoush. They said the texture and the season on the lamb were good. It had a good char on the picana, but it lacked flavor. But they did love the corn. So all in all, he has some ups, he has his downs. Judges thought he did okay. Stacy did deep fried chicken livers and a Chinese 5-spice, kimchi rice, roasted duck leg tacos with mango salsa. Judges thought she had a perfect cook on the liver. They loved the sauce that she used. Thought it was very deep, flavorful. The duck leg tacos, though, that didn't have a lot of flavor, so she really didn't spend too much on that flavor profile. But they said the duck in itself tasted good. All right. So all in all, those are the thoughts of the judges. This was the competition. We all know what happens at the end of a competition. There are winners, there are losers. Let's get to the results. All right. So overall, the winner of this week's competition of Barbecue Showdown Episode 3, Season 3, is Shatika. Congratulations, Shatika. Again, you did your thing. If you can instill more confidence in your abilities, I think you Sloan and Big G Gerald is in my top 3 right now to win it all. So if you just instill more of that confidence, I'm pretty sure you will run away with this competition. But guess what, guys? When there's a winner, there is a loser. The 2 people that were sent to the bottom 2 were Kent and Melissa. Now, before they announced it, I kind of figured Kent and Melissa was in the bottom of the 2. They were going to be named at the bottom. But guess what? This week, episode 3, the loser was not announced. So we don't know between Kent and Melissa who will be going home. What's happening and what you guys need to tune into and then come watch next week is episode 4, where they're going to be going into a battle showdown for their spot in the competition. That threw me off guard. I'm sitting here waiting. I'm like, okay, who's going to lose? Da, 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 da. Oh, wait, we're not going to find out who won this week or who lost this week? We don't know who's going home this week? Well, guess what, guys? Got to tune in to episode 3, season 3 of Barbecue Showdown on Netflix. All right? But I know you're probably getting a little tired of hearing from me today. So you already know it has been another episode of the Food We Watch podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Turn on those notifications so you can know when these episodes drop. I'm trying to be more consistent on the day that we drop. This is not coming out till Thursday, so I do apologize for that, but it's, a lot going on, and I'm just trying to be as flexible with my work schedule, my life schedule, and still be able to give you an episode every week consistently. So just turn on the notifications. You feel me? Turn on the notifications. You feel me? And you'll be able to know when we drop. Also, Saturday, September 7th, if you are in the Philadelphia, the Delaware County, or Delaware State, Claymont, and Wilmington only, we are doing another platter day. Okay, we are doing kebabs this time. We got the chicken kebabs. We got the steak kebabs. We got the shrimp kebabs. We got the trio where you can get all 3 of them things. You feel me? We got our special barbecue sauce blend that's going to be coated with them. And we got our white sauce, our traditional white sauce, okay? And then we also still have the traditional sides that you can order. You got the seafood pasta salad, the garlic parm fries. We even added a new side, okay? We doing cheesesteak rolls, Philly cheesesteak rolls, you feel me? And of course, you should not order anything from us without also ordering a slice of that homemade pie, all right? Each platter comes with a free drink of soda of your choice that's listed on the menu. If you want to order, please go to @NormalsBeChefing on IG. If you go to our bio, you will see the link in our link tree, and you will see the order link. If you follow us on Facebook, you will see it on the platform there as well. Hit the stories. We're always posting the link in the stories, but if you can't find the link, hit us up on @NormalsBeChefing in the DMs on IG. We'll be able to provide you with that link. Again, this is going to be going down on September 7th. Normally start the deliveries. You can come pick it up, or we can deliver it to you for a $6 fee. We normally start deliveries between 2 and 3. So just hit us up. Support the podcast. Support what we're doing. We're trying to build something for you. All right. So again, if you want to follow us, be sure to follow @NormalsBeChefing on all platforms. Also, we do have a Facebook, a IG and a Twitter. So if you don't feel like watching all of our episodes, you can see clips of each episode at the Food We Watch Pod on Facebook. I'm sorry, not on Facebook, on IG and TikTok, for as long as TikTok is available to us in the United States. But I've been your boy, Nextstop Sirchcity. Before I go, you already know, I got to let you know that good things come and good things go. Life is like a box of chocolate. Even though summertime is ending, that shit still be melting. I holla.